everybody. Welcome from gutter to growth. We are so thankful to be here tonight. Last week was Thanksgiving and it was a little busy, so we just, wanted everybody to enjoy their families. But we are back,
We're
Dr.
back.
King.
We're back. We're back. We're back.
How
Oh, you
is
know
it
what?
going?
Oh, it's going good. I'm getting a little. Okay, here I go. I'm
There you
sorry.
go.
I'm doing some stuff and I'm trying to, but I almost got
You
it.
got it. You almost got
I
it. Look.
almost got it.
We are
Okay.
just so thankful to have everybody here with us. I'm actually trying to make sure that it is up and running. It is up and running. So hopefully y'all can, come along with us on Facebook and YouTube and just check us out. Dr. King, it is on Facebook. So
Oh,
you can go ahead and accept that
okay. Let me do. Yeah,
that
let me do that.
request.
Cause
We
I
are
want to make.
all over. But look, if you haven't been following us for season two is really a matter of the heart. We're talking about relationships, all things relationships. The first episode, we really talked about if it's love or just learned behavior. Um,
Uh-huh.
so if you haven't looked at that, please go to our YouTube account so you can really take a listen to that episode, and I promise you, you'll be blessed by it. The second episode, we really dived into marriage and how childhood trauma or dysfunction will really, how it plays a huge factor in our marriage. And look, if you wasn't with us when we talked about that, I'm telling you, we dropped some gems.
What's
Like
some
it,
gems?
yes, it was a treat. I actually go back myself and I'm like listening to those nuggets because I'm like, God, you are something because you know what to give your people. We tell people all the time that we're not here just trying to push information to you, but this is growth for us.
Yes.
So we look forward to this because we know that the Lord is speaking to us in those areas that we need to
I
grow
think
in and improve in.
See,
So
that's the part, and that's the important part. It's not just this. These are healthy conversations. I
yes.
think we have to understand they're healthy conversations because a lot of times people come into conversations and they think that the conversation is just about, you're talking to them or at them.
Mhm.
No, we're having a conversation with you. These are lived experiences for us. So we
Yes.
get a chance to talk out loud about what it is we are doing and what we need to do. So I
Yes.
enjoy it.
I love it. Tonight is so special because you and I both, we're parents.
Hmm.
And, tonight we're going to talk about parenting from the gutter. Um, there's no shame here. You started out early as a parent.
Yeah, very early.
And that hit, it's like when you think about that, parenting from the gutter, like
Hmm.
we didn't
Hmm.
know what we didn't know.
You didn't know what you didn't know.
But yet and still, so many people are parenting from the gutter. And we're going to dive deep into that because what that entails really is breaking those generational cycles so your children don't have to carry that
See,
baggage.
and that's the part, sis. So
Mhm,
your children, and a lot of times it's like you're not in because, like you say, I started early, and I'm pretty sure there's some who can relate,
mhm.
to relate to that. Whatever their situation may be or how it even came about. But that was the thing. You have to get to a point to realize that what you did was not. It's not about being broken because a lot of times when you parent from the gutter, it's the mindset of your parenting from brokenness.
Wow.
It's the mindset that you're parenting from a place of mishaps, mistakes, because that's how you feel. Like you
Mhm.
made a mistake, you messed up, you feel like, but it's not that. It's you get to the point to where you say, you know what? I refuse to bleed on my children because they didn't cause this cut, they didn't cause this wound, they didn't cause this scar. And sometimes even that, the children don't always understand that. But it's
No.
like these are some things that I had to learn how to work out on my own. Learning. It's a learning process. It's a learning curve, and you don't always get it right.
Right.
And you can get it right. You can get it right, but you may not get it right in everyone's sight. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It may be feel right with you, but it'll never fit, and then vice versa. So it's because then you'll beat yourself up for the things that. But no, we're not doing that. So what we're doing, we're trying to raise our children by still trying to unlearn the trauma that raised us.
Right.
That's it. That's something. They're
Isn't
trying to
that
raise our.
something that you're trying to raise your children
Mhm.
while walking through your own healing?
While walking on through your own trauma. Because you have to understand when you're parenting from the gutter, you hear the voices. You
Mm,
have to understand the gutter. When we think of the gutter is a low place. When we
wow.
think about the gutter is a low place. Negativity is in the gutter. Toxicity is in the gutter. Jealousy is in the gutter.
Yes.
Messiness is in the gutter. Pettiness is in the gutter. So you're trying to find your way through all that filth, through all those, through all that mess. You're trying
Yeah.
to filter your way through that and still, in some shape or form, be a parent. Mhm.
Wow.
Even though you don't know how to be a parent.
Right. Right.
So,
As you were talking, it just made me think about what I was thinking about today because, and hey, mom, if you're listening, I
mhm.
was thinking about my own mom because knowing her story, like she is the epitome
Yep.
of healing while raising children.
Hmm.
My mom, I hold her like she's like the best mom ever, but she did not really have a mom
Nope.
or
And
a
see,
dad. Like, and that doesn't take away from people, but it is her story. But yet, through her own healing, like she walking through that, still going through her own trauma as a young adult because of just issues of her own marriage being in crumbles, that she
uh-huh.
was trying to love us through her own healing and trauma, raise us, teach us. Like, it's just
It's it's
mind blowing.
it's mind-boggling when you see that, and then you see, and it was a wonder. Like I tell people, I have no complaints. It was a wonder. My perception is an immaculate job.
Yeah,
And I always tell people the mistakes that I made, don't hold them at the charge of my mother. It was not the things that I did. It was not her. It was my own choice because I always tell people she raised me right. She raised
right.
me right. She raised me right. So that's the blessing.
Mhm.
That's the blessing.
Yeah. Let's talk about this because you started naming some things and we're talking about, breaking generational cycles so we don't give our kids the baggage. And sometimes what I found for myself, sometimes we don't even know what is considered that. What are some things that can carry on? And you named some things,
Uh-huh.
that were just that stood out. Like you talked about negativity. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
really know if people understand that that is like a cycle, like this generational cycle that has to be broken, like negativity, insecurities. Like, I was that child that was insecure, but if you would have told me that as a young adult that this
Hmm.
came from childhood
Come on.
experiences,
Come on, sis.
I never would have linked that to that needs to be cut. Like,
Come on. Hey,
uh
because we don't. Those are the things that you're constantly hearing, but you don't even understand how much of an impact that it has on you.
wow. Yeah. Like, so for those of you, we hear it all the time. Like, before you can allow somebody to point out something that's wrong, like, are you the type of person who is gonna degrade yourself first?
Come
Like,
on now.
that's a cycle that has to be broken. Like that, it's not good. And people say it without thinking, but when you're like, I'm so stupid, or I'm so ugly, or I'm so fat, I could talk about myself. I would think of those negative things like I'm so fat because, or I'm this, because if you've heard those things,
That's what's
you you take on that thought process, you know?
So what, in essence, what we try to do is we try to give our children a stability that we never experienced.
Mm,
That's what we try and do. We it's crazy because here it is, we're trying to break cycles. Watch this, that our parents, they didn't know they actually normalized them because
wow,
that's all they knew. So here it
wow.
is now because you had to fight through that. You're fat, you're this, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're ugly, you're this. You had to fight through that. Why? Because our parents portrayed on us what was portrayed on them. So they
Yeah,
didn't know. So if you were dealing with a negative parent, 9 times out of 10, that's what they dealt with. They
yeah,
dealt with that environment. And so it seems like, man, my mom, my dad is always negative. That's all they know until they're willing to until they're willing to confront that and say,
yeah,
this is
and
not how I'm
heal
supposed to be
from it.
raising my
Right.
kids. This is not how I'm
Yeah,
supposed to be teaching my kids. You are beautiful. You are someone. You are going to make it. You're going to be successful. You have to
mm,
speak that life into them.
yeah. Wow. And
Oh,
that's what I
it's yeah.
would, I would say for myself, as a parent, you have to learn what is not truth.
Oh
And
God.
sometimes that is like the most difficult thing, learning what's not truth because you've been in it, you've been around it, um, and you basically conform to it. Like
Ooh.
time, I talk all the time, like, in our household, how because of the turmoil, we conformed to that
We
negativity. So
did.
conformed to bashing each other and fighting. Oh my God, y'all, I was a
It was
fighter.
normal. It was that. Listen, I tell people all the time, me and Snap would fight like. I mean, I'm sorry, me and Johnny, we would fight like what they say, cats and dogs. But as soon
Yeah,
as we were removed from that environment, we never touched each other again.
right. Like instantly, it was
Instantly,
done.
we never touched each other again. So you don't
Right,
realize how much an environment plays because you think, well, this is just, you've heard this statement, this is just me, this is just who I am, this is, man, you got to get to a point to where you shut down generational cycles of negativity and toxicity that ran into your family because you don't want it to run in your children.
right.
If you don't shut it down, it now runs into your children. And so
Yes,
that's why I say, like you were giving mom props. That's why I give her props because I think the song said, I had a praying grandmama. We had a praying mama. We didn't
yes,
understand it all then, but we understand now that she was saying, I gotta cut the cord to all these attachments, these generational attachments that have been established within my children, because if not, it's going to continue to be replay and recycle and rehearse itself within their children. And then guess what? It's not just going to haunt my children, but it's going to haunt their children, and it's going to
yeah.
haunt their children's children, and they're going to think it's a spirit and may interpret it as the Spirit of God when Christ, the Holy Spirit, is nowhere in that.
Mm-mm, nowhere. You said a lot because for those of us who feel like we can say a thing and do another, let's talk
Oh,
about what's more important. Because a lot of times we can say, one thing, but how do our children, how do they learn?
they
Do they
learn
learn
by, see,
what
listen,
we say or how we move, what we do?
listen, they will listen to what you say, but we all know action speaks louder than words. We know we got to have faith, but if you really want to see my faith, watch me work.
Wow.
But the scriptures basically telling. So your children are always going to watch you. So what you show them is always the best teacher. So guess what? I might
Yeah.
not always say it right, but at least let me try and do it right. I may not
Right.
always do it right every time, but at least let me give you the blueprint, the or the floor plan of how it should be done. So you would at least know this is how it's supposed to take place because they are watching us. That's why it's important that we watch how we act, how we see. I have this thing where I say it's not about how you, it's not about your response, it's about how you react. It's about how you respond. A lot of times our
Mhm.
children are watching our reactions. They're not listening for
Yes,
our
yeah.
response. And
Mhm.
your reaction, and then you're saying to yourself, where do they get that from? Why are they acting like that? You remember that commercial? Son, where do you get this from? I get it from you, Dad. All right, I get it from you. They're watching us. So when you're trying to figure out where they get that attitude from, why they talk back, why they snap back, why they
Yeah,
clap back, all that back, why they're doing all that, they get it from what they see. That's why it's important that, hey, if it's not coming from you, it's coming from somewhere. So as parents, we got to do
right.
the best we can to guard not only their ear gate, but also their eye gate. We have to make sure, hey,
Right.
you don't want to watch that. You can't listen, you watching this, hey, to each his own, but you don't need to be watching no love and hip hop. That's not how relationships go.
Right.
Come on, I'm trying to
Right.
show you a more excellent thing here. I'm
Yeah.
trying to show you
Yeah.
that you can love one woman, you can love one man.
Yes.
You can spend a lifetime with them.
Yes.
Through it all, yes,
Yes.
you might fuss, you might have your disagreements or whatever, but you don't go out and mess with the friend. It's what you see what I'm saying? It's what they're
Yeah.
watching what we do. They're
Every
watching
step.
what we
Every
do.
yeah. Let's talk about this piece because look, we know it's out there. So for those parents who are like, well, what do I do? Like, what does it look like? Let's talk about what it truly looks like to parent from a place of healing versus a
Mm.
place of hurt. And
Mm.
I'm gonna say when I started out, I probably was there at that parenting from a place of hurt. And how do you know?
Mm.
Because your parenting style is, I'm not gonna do this because this is how my parents did. I'm not like you're just so fixated of what I'm not gonna do because of what my parents did and what did like till it just takes over like true parenting. So for those of you who may be like, what does that look like to parent from a
Come on
place
now.
of healing, not a place of hurt? And I want to throw this out because I know this is for me, it was so huge because I was that controlling type parent instead of that guiding, you know,
God,
because the Holy Spirit guides us into all what?
see, you
Truth.
don't want to. You're not.
So if the
Come on now.
Holy
Uh,
Spirit is guiding, that's how we learn. That's how we are corrected. That is the true epitome of how parenting is supposed to be. But I ain't gonna lie, I was like that controlling, like,
you
look,
go,
this
you going
is what we
Joe
doing.
Jackson. You were going Joe Jackson on him. I'm gonna turn you into a Michael.
But let's just talk about why it's so important to understand the difference from guiding and controlling or even listening instead of reacting or instead of assuming things. Let's just listen and kind of see where they are instead of dominating. Let's question and let's have a conversation. Let's talk
Let's have a
about that
conversation.
for parents who yeah.
Well, the first thing that we have to understand if we're going to get to the place of guiding is making sure that we're no longer um, raising our children through the lens of what broke you. You can't raise your children
Wow.
through a lens of what broke you, because when you do that, then you start to put demands on them that were placed on you.
Mm,
You start to demand, and the demands, guess what? It starts to feel like the pain that was placed on you. And we don't understand, and we're trying to
wow.
figure out why our children are reacting the way that they. Well, you matured through it. You matured through it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you've normalized it. It's a natural part of your life, and your child is trying to understand, like, why are you placing this type of burden on me? So I'm telling you. So what we have to do, if we're going to guide them, we got to stop echoing about the past, about our past, and start announcing their future. You got to catch that.
Wow.
We have to stop
Yes.
echoing about our past. Mhm. Well, and I
Mhm.
did this, and I did, and the way that and start announcing their future. We got to start speaking life into them. If this, oh, this is what you want to do, son. This is what I'm going to pray that. I'm going to declare that. I'm going to speak that over you. I'm going to put you in a position where that is what you can accomplish. And guess what? I'm not just going to put
Yeah.
you in a position to accomplish that, but I'm going to put you in a position to accomplish more because you might see that, but I see more in you. There's greater in you. So our
Wow.
responsibility is to also pull out the greatness that's also already in them. We have that responsibility. We have that responsibility. So
We
it
do.
means and two, not making our kids, if we're gonna lead them, we can't make them pay for our trauma. We can't do
Wow.
that. We got to show them peace instead of fight.
Yeah. Yes, yes. So we can't leave faith out of this. We can't leave faith out of it because it's such a critical part when it comes to resetting those generational patterns that have existed for decades. Sometimes what happens as parents, we're trying to fix it and do it on our own, but it's impossible. It's impossible to leave God out of parenting. It is so impossible to do that because what I'm realizing, bringing God in it, it's the tool, it's the blueprint for helping us as parents and us helping our children truly understand true identity and where their identity comes from. Faith also helps redefine love because
I went out. I'm sorry.
sometimes the biggest thing is understanding the love of Christ. And when you understand the love of Christ, then you're going to know how to raise your children.
hmm
So let's just talk about how faith resets those generational patterns and it really redefines legacy. Like it
Come on.
steers it on the right path. Like let's talk about that.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something. I thank God for faith because
Mhm.
I had an opportunity to see faith at work. Faith walked into our family history and our family present, and it rewrote the whole narrative. We saw the power of faith rewrite our whole narrative. When you
Wow.
look at our life and you think about what we went through and where we should be, we saw faith in action. A lot of
Wow.
people talk about faith, but we had a chance. We witnessed faith firsthand. And I need somebody to grab a hold of this because some of us are saying, I went through this and I went through that, but you came out of it. Don't put
Yes.
yourself back in it. And a lot of
Yes.
times that's what gets us. God will deliver us from a situation, uh-huh, but we'll put ourselves back in it
Hmm.
and then we'll say, where is God? My
Wow.
mom talked about this faith. My grandmother prayed about this faith. I was having this comment, and I gotta go because I need to help you understand where I'm going here. I would have people tell me, about church and going to church, and they would talk, and they would say, well, my grandmama went to church all those years, and she didn't have anything to show for it. She was still living in the projects, or still living in that old wooden house, going to church. They'll say, giving the church all the money. They say stuff like that, and I say the sad thing is you're sitting there, you're an educator now. The sad thing
Mhm.
is you a doctor now. The sad thing is you a
Mhm.
lawyer now. I'm showing you
Yes.
faith. Grandmama wasn't praying for her to get a bigger house. Grandmama wasn't praying for her to
Wow.
have a better car. Grandma wasn't praying. Come on now. Grandma wasn't
Yes.
praying for that. Grandma was praying for her seed. That's what grandma
Wow.
was praying for. She was praying for her seed. And it's sad that people can't understand that. I see that when I look back over my life, I knew my mom wanted bigger and better things. But at
Yes.
that time, that wasn't where her faith was. Her faith was, Lord, don't let my children have to go through what I went through. Don't let my
Yes.
children have to experience what I experienced. Don't let my children experience the struggles so faith comes and exposes the patterns, watch this, that everybody ignored. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Everybody ignores these patterns. They ignore them. Everybody ignore, but it confronts the trauma that everybody tried to normalize. You try to
Wow.
normalize this. You trying to make this right. You're trying to make this good. No, I'm going to confront it. Faith will
Yeah.
confront that thing and say, no, 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 no. Your steps have been ordered by the Lord. I'm by
Got
my word.
to.
I'm
Yes.
telling. That's what faith does, and people don't understand. It resets our identity, and it's you
Mm.
stop living by what your family survived and start living by what God promised.
Wow.
That's
Yes.
faith.
Wow. Look,
That's
you
faith.
said
This
so.
thing keep on coming up, reconnecting. I don't know what's going on, so if I go off again, I'm so bad. But
You
it's,
you said so much because it's like a building, it's like a tower, like this
mm-hmm,
generational thing. Like it should be where it's just it keeps building on top of each other. I
mm-hmm.
always say I'm not just concerned about myself. I'm not just living this life, this kingdom life for myself or just my children. It's about my seed from
Yes,
generation to generation
from
to
generation to
generation.
generation. Come on, sis.
Man, so I
It's from
have to break
generation to
the
generation.
curse. I have
So,
to.
so, so this is the beauty of it. Faith doesn't just break the cycle. Faith builds a brand new legacy.
Yeah.
Come on. Your seed, our seed is the new legacy. That's what they got. Even our seed had to get in. You know what? I don't like what my mama did. I don't like the way they did it. You have to understand they did it because they were trying. They didn't know if they were doing it all right. They was just trying to do it right. So you wouldn't have to go through what they went through. So when
Right.
you sit back and you look over your life and you see what you're accomplishing, just know you are so much farther at this juncture of your life than your
Yeah.
parents were.
Just keep
So much
building.
farther. You have an
Yeah.
opportunity to accomplish so much more at this
Yes.
juncture in your life. So I'm telling you, it's a brand new legacy.
Man.
Brand new
Man.
legacy.
So such good stuff. Look, this piece, and we're not gonna try to tell people how to, parent or discipline, but this is a huge piece because people have a hard time with balancing discipline and love. They try to
Ooh.
separate the two. But let's talk about
Mm.
how, for one, why old patterns make it a problem now for people to discipline, and
Oh
why
boy.
it's an issue with them understanding that discipline is love. Like, let's talk
Oh, let's
about.
have this come. So sis, listen. Breaking cycles takes more than correction.
Yeah.
People, because we're talking about that balance of discipline and love, it takes more. It takes more than correction. It takes correction. This is what I had learned. Correction wrapped in love and wisdom.
Wow.
I need. If you don't know anything, I need you to know I love you. You might not understand everything, but I need you to know I love you. It might not make sense to you now, but at least try your best to make it make sense that I love you. And
Mhm,
understand that what I'm giving you is wisdom. I'm not giving you anything that's going to hurt you. I'm not giving you anything that's going to harm you because I've already been through what you're going through.
mhm.
Just because I don't tell you everything doesn't mean I haven't been through anything. You have to understand that I love you. And discipline without love, this is what discipline. If you do discipline, if you're disciplining without love, you're going to produce rebellion.
Wow.
I always say there's nothing wrong with a conversation. You know, we grew up because I told you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you why I told you what I told you.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you.
Yes.
I need because I don't want love without discipline produces entitlement. Come on now.
Mhm.
Sis, you still in the educational system. I'm in the college. We see it.
Yeah.
We see it. We see both of those. We see
Yeah.
love without discipline. These jokers so entitled. Do
Yeah.
whatever they want to do and get everything that they want.
Yeah.
So the balance is, as parents, we got to stand firm in our boundaries. These are the boundaries that we're setting, and so we got to have these parameters. So when your parents, mother, father, you can't go. You already know where he stands, sis. You
Yeah.
already know where bruh stand. So
Yeah.
why say if you already know what bruh stand, and nephew come to you and say, "Well, mom," such and such, well, go and ask your dad. I'll talk to you. You already know where he stand. So you got to create that boundary. The same way with him,
Yeah.
he knows where you stand. You got to create that boundary. And when you're creating those boundaries, you got to speak truth and grace. Son,
Yes.
I'm saying the reason I don't want you going here is because such and such and such and such. And
Yeah.
hey, I'm gonna tell you, you might not understand it now, but I promise you, you're gonna understand it later.
Yeah.
When I'm correcting you, I'm not gonna crush you.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell
wow.
and I'm trying to get better. I gotta talk about me. I can't. I'm trying to get better because sometimes the thing, because how you came up and you heard stuff, you stupid. So you
Yeah.
want to say you stupid. Then I say what you did is stupid.
Yeah.
But it's like, so now it's like, man, come here, let me talk to you. Oh, I
Yeah.
promise myself, come here, let me talk to you. I apologize. What you did was crazy. It
But
ain't
that
making any sense.
alone but that alone is huge,
Yeah.
because we're not perfect as parents, and we may mess up with things, but just even being able to apologize, like, and build that connection, that is huge, because some parents are like, I don't have to apologize. I'm the parent. Like,
But you was wrong.
even yeah.
If I'm
Yeah.
wrong, and I may not even think I'm wrong. I'm sorry you feel that way. I didn't
Mhm.
mean it for. I didn't mean it for. I don't have. I didn't mean for it to come out like I didn't. I don't. I didn't mean for you to feel like that because sometimes we do. We have this way. This is how we move. This is how we operate. And how we
Mhm.
operate and how we move is not always in the best interest of our children.
Right.
It's not
Right.
always that. So it's there's nothing wrong. We have to get out. I'm the parent. I'm the mama. It's what
Right.
no. I want to hear what you. I don't. Especially when, and I'm like, especially when you get to a certain age, we gotta
Right.
have. We gotta have more conversation. We gotta have more
Yes.
conversation because I need to know what you're thinking. Because if
Mhm.
I keep you from having conversation without me, you're gonna go out there and self destruct.
Yeah. Right.
You're not gonna go out there and not just hurt yourself, but you're gonna hurt somebody else. So a lot of people think raising your kids, my kids, they're gonna do that. Well, if you're gonna don't raise them in fear.
Right.
Oh, don't nah,
'Cause what
show
are
them
they
some
gonna
love.
do when they're away from you and they don't have to be under your rulership? Like, what's gonna happen?
Because that's
You
the
know?
thing. What I want when my kids are not under my rulership, I don't want the authority of my word to strike fear in them. I
Right.
want it to strike confidence.
Mm.
I wanted to strike. Okay, King, what you mean strike confidence? I want them to have confidence in my words enough to trust me. That if
Mm.
they hear my words say, "Don't do that." It's
Yes.
not like what I'm saying. My theory doesn't call a rebellion, but it's like, man,
Yes.
if my dad saying don't do that, I gotta trust him.
Yeah.
I got confidence in his word.
Yeah.
That's word, right? We have to
That's
have
word.
confidence in
That's
our Father's
Bible.
word.
I'm like, look, because parents, we got to be confident in the word of the Lord. When Daddy speak, we
When
got to.
You got to. So I want them to be calm. Like, hey, I said,
Wow.
okay, don't do that. Don't do. You might see it now as, oh, we just having fun. This I had fun.
Hmm.
These are the consequences of your actions. I want you to hear my words with confidence, not with fear. And if it is fear, I want it to be a healthy, like a reverence. You respect
Yes.
me enough.
Yes.
That type of
Yes.
fear. You respect me enough. There was some things that got to a point where it was like, man, I'm saying, but it's like, nah, I got to get to a point where I respect. Nah, this is my mom. I can't do this.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
respect her enough to have that respect. So that's what we have to be, sis.
Yeah. Let's talk about this piece, because this is so crucial. Let's talk about, how do we forgive ourselves for the mistakes that we made? Those of you who are, I don't know if we have any parents that are new, or or what, new parents, but there are some mistakes that you may have made, or you're making, before you knew to do better. Like, let's talk about that. And I can talk about myself. It's stuff I still be apologizing to King for, because he was the firstborn. And I'll
Oh
just
boy.
randomly be like, you know what, son, I'm sorry for that. Like, and he's not
Yeah.
thinking about it, but it's just a memory or something that has come up. And I'm like, man, I just was
You
not
just said something so powerful.
right.
If I could throw this nugget out there right quick, reflection leads to correction.
Mm,
Reflection
Wow.
leads to correction. There's nothing wrong with reflecting because we've been taught, don't look back, don't look. No, no, no. I have to because I don't want to repeat the mistakes of my past.
Mhm.
So I might not have gotten it right with you, but I at least want to get it right with your brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
might be hurtful to you. That might be hurtful to you because you had to be the one to go through what you went through. But I just know that hey, I was a work in progress. This was all new
Mhm.
to me. I was learning. But I would say too, sis, the first, I mean, if we're gonna forgive, the first thing we can do is we gotta stop letting our past define our present.
Wow.
We gotta stop that because I mean, it happened, forgive me, and I'm moving on. I'm
Yes.
not about because I've seen where children will hold their parents hostage for their past.
Mhm.
Can't hold me hostage.
Wow.
You can't hold me
Wow.
hostage. No.
That
Told
is
you enough,
wow.
showed you enough. You know what I'm saying? Can't hold me hostage
Mhm.
because that's what won't do. Can't do it because this is the thing. Before you knew better, you did the best you could with what you had.
Right.
Because sometimes I'm gonna say I was a parent in survival mode. I became a
Well,
parent, and
let's talk
especially
about that.
once I started
Yeah.
working, it was all about
Mhm.
survival mode. Because parents who work, y'all know what happened when we work. The court's coming. So I was a parent in survival mode. Then I got married and I had kids.
Mhm.
I was a parent in survival mode because you have so much going on. You trying, and people are saying, "Well, you don't want." You find yourself and you're sitting here. Okay, I got to make a choice. Do I go to
Mhm.
work and pay my bills? Do I go to work and make sure I don't go to jail, or do I'm there every day? You got to make a choice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it was a difficult, but you sit back and you look back and you say, you know what? I could have did this. You know what? I
Mhm.
could have did that. Maybe I could have said, oh, I was in my feelings right here. I was mad. Yeah, I was mad.
Mhm.
I ain't want to deal with the situation. You do. You reflect.
Yeah.
But I can't let that hold me hostage. I got to let that make me better and I got to move on because I can't. You reflect about
Ready.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And you have to give
you,
yourself grace. You have to give
yeah.
yourself grace. And you said something that was so just on point that you just can't let people hold you hostage. And we're talking about relationships, period. Like whether that's
Yeah.
your grown children, spouse, like when you've asked for forgiveness and you're trying to do better because you're learning how to do better, you have to move forward and you can't allow people to keep you like back in the
Ooh, you just,
past when you're trying to grow. Like,
oh, you just made me.
like, man, I
Uh,
did. I was struggling. I was straight struck. Like I've confessed that to you. But at the end of the day, I'm becoming a better person for myself and those around me. And I just can't let anybody try to hold me hostage and keep me there because they're not ready to forgive. I can't help if somebody else is not ready to forgive me. I've asked for forgiveness. I've forgiven myself. And now I have to move on so I can
oh
grow
my
and
God.
be who God is
You
to me.
said, listen, sis. Because if we're not careful, what happens is our expectation become we turn our expectation becomes a limitation because we're
Mm,
expecting a certain level of forgiveness, or you know what I'm saying. We're expecting this person to respond a certain way, and when they don't, we limit it. You didn't do it the way that I
mhm,
wanted you to do it. But what if they did it the
mhm.
best way they knew how?
Right.
And if you would have
Because it's about
accepted that,
growth.
it could have opened the door for so much more.
Yes, that is the
And
piece. Like
so we have
when
this
you start
expectation because you sit here, we watch what goes on in other people's house, but we really don't know what goes on in other people's house. Oh, my
right,
friend so and
right.
so, and when they did, you don't know what was going on in their house.
Yep,
You only know what you
yeah.
saw. You don't know what went on behind closed doors. So don't allow your expectation to become their limitation. If you're going to
Mhm.
accept it, accept that what they give you and move forward with it. Because I want to say this too, because you
Yeah.
said something when you were talking about that, and God sees our growth. When you and listen to
Mm.
me, parents. God sees your growth. It's time for you to see it too. If you don't see it,
Wow.
you're going to keep finding yourself repeating the same habits and repeating the same behaviors. It's time for you to see your growth
Mm.
and accept that growth and move on. Listen, I need you to understand, you're not going to always get it right. You're
Mm.
going to miss the mark. That's a part of it. That's a part of living this life. I don't know if you've ever been
Mm-hmm.
walking and you misstep. If you've been walking, you misstep, you almost trip, that's life. That you don't always get it right.
Mm.
It's not always 1, 2, sometimes a 1, 3. Oh, you almost, that's life. So you need to see it. You need to see it too. You need to see it too.
Yeah. And a part of that is, and I do love this piece, especially with my young adult son, that it's so good to just talk and have conversations,
Have conversation.
with your children about things. A lot of times, parents want to hold on to things and keep things
Yeah.
like secret or cover up. And we're not talking
Come on.
about just trying to be a burden on your children, just let,
Yeah.
but it's just so good to just have those open conversations and
God. Oh my God.
dialogues
Oh my.
about
Listen,
things
I'm
like
so
just
and I
sharing the lesson.
sharing it because see, a lot of times even as parents, we get to the point to where we're saying stuff like, "I don't want them in my." I hope I'm not disconnected because this thing is freezing up. But we get to the point to where we don't want them to know. Am I freezing, sis?
It's just
Okay.
your backlash. Just turn on your other
Okay.
thing while you're talking.
Okay. Let me. It's so what happens is, and it drives me crazy because so many times, what we find is we start.
We lost connection, but as he's coming back, because I know he's going to talk about something good, but that is something that I've learned myself because shame will keep you from sharing those conversations. And I've dealt with that a lot, like just living a life of shame about just different things that I've gone through growing up, but just having those conversations with our children, not for them to feel bad
This
for
thing
us,
driving me crazy.
but to have dialogue with us is so good. But I know you got something good to say, bro.
So, hey, listen. I hope I'm not echoing and trying to turn this thing off. But I
Good.
was saying,
You're good.
you can hear me good.
Mhm.
So what I was going to say was I remember growing up and in an early age, mom would give us money and say go and pay the rent, and we would get on our bicycle and we would go and pay the rent. Mom would give us money and say go and pay the light bill. So we had to. I think that's where the school board is now, somewhere up around there where the light place was. We would have to go up there. We would have to go and pay the gas bill, go and pay the cable bill. We at an early age we were getting on our bicycles and we were going and paying bills. Mom would leave a list home and say, go and pick up these groceries, go and buy this stuff. At an early age, we were learning. I say that to say sometimes it's good to sit down with your kids and show them how money works. You got to show them that this life that they're enjoying, this life that they're experiencing is not a cheap life. This life comes with bills. This life comes with burdens. This life comes with denying yourself as a parent in order to make sure your child has what they need. So that's why those conversations we're talking about those conversations. Those conversations have to take place. They must take place. It's essential that they take place because if not, we put ourselves in a situation where our children grow up unlearned. They don't know. They
Wow.
don't have a clue.
Wow.
You have to show them. So I'm glad you said that about having conversation. Yes, we have to have a conversation about the birds and the bees. Yes, we have to have a conversation about etiquette. Yes, we have to have a conversation about hygiene. Yes, have
Yeah.
to have a conversation about how you dress. I got girl, how you dress and how it could be. Yes, it might look nice to you. But it's I'm gonna say it like this: it's nastily tasteful to somebody else. And I say nastily. The reason I say it is because that's what's going through their mind. You know, all the nasty
Yeah.
stuff. Because you showing them there, you got to be mindful. Yes, well, it's my body. I can do. Yes, it's yours, but you got to understand everything that comes with what you do. You have to have these conversations. You got to have these conversations. Because you trying to look sexy, but you know what I'm saying. But somebody, the wrong individual watching. You know, you got to be mindful. You got to have these conversations. So, sis, I'm glad you said that and you talked about having
Yes.
these conversations because they are necessary.
Yes. So let's talk about this. Like, because we know that parent child relationship is so important. Like, it's one of the most important relationships. It's nothing like that healthy parent child relationship. And we know we talk to a lot of coworkers and other family members that may have like a dysfunctional relationship,
Mm-hmm.
with their child, with their children. But let's talk about how, if you are a parent, how you can move forward to having a healthy relationship with your own children, even if you don't have a healthy relationship with your own parents.
Mm. You got one
Because
in now.
that that is huge,
That's
because sometimes we don't have those healthy relationships with our own parents or parent. How do you work at having a healthy relationship with your own children?
I was taught that honesty is the best policy.
Hmm.
So being honest.
Hmm.
Um, you if you're going to have a healthy relationship, you got to be honest about your children have to know where they came, not only where they came from, but what they came from.
Mm.
So if I could give
Wow.
you a sidebar, that was hidden from us for a while.
Yeah. Wow. You taking it
Yeah.
there.
So
You
you
got
got
me
so
sitting
honesty is that
up.
you got to be honest about because then what happens is as your kids get older, they're trying to figure out certain things and you can't explain why
Mhm.
because you didn't know.
Wow.
So I like to say I'm gonna give you this joke and you'll understand. I tell Raya because you know Raya is this big. You know Raya this big. So I tell Raya she like to sit there she can eat. Oh my God, she can eat. And she like to sit there and eat. And I say, okay, now I need you see me going to the gym and trying to do all this stuff. I need you to remember you got your daddy DNA.
Right.
She just look at me like
Right.
I'm crazy. I said, you got your daddy DNA, so I need you to understand that may eventually catch up with you one day. You know what I'm saying? But I say that so it's important that we are honest. We tell our kids they need to know. They need to know whether because this, if you didn't have, if something is running in your family, you need to be honest about it because that's the only way it's going to run out.
Wow.
If you know what they tell you to do when you get a water pump or some type of pipe change in your house, they tell you to turn on the water and run it. And the reason they tell you to turn on that water and run it because they know it's some type of dirt or grime that's stuck in there, and they want you to run all that out before you start actually drinking or using that water because they want to make sure. So that's the only way it's going to run out is you got to turn on the faucet.
So what you're saying is caked up things that can be in the form of secrets
Don't okay now.
can affect parent child
Most
relationship.
definitely, most definitely. A lot of times we think keeping secrets doesn't. I mean, keeping secret, and I can understand. I'll tell people I understand once you get to a certain age, I was trying to wait, and I tell people I've had students. I've talked to students year. Well, I just found out. I've had that. I just found out I was adopted conversation, with a student.
Mhm.
And my parents, they sat me down and I'm just so I thought, you know what I'm saying? I'd say, but guess what? They would try, I have to explain, they were trying to wait until you were old enough to share that with you. At least they didn't let you go through life Once, because
Mm,
eventually it's gonna click. Something gonna click. You're gonna realize I look different.
mm.
You're gonna realize I act different. You know what I'm saying? So it's good that they so trying to get them to understand. You know what I'm saying? So when we got to be careful. Secrets, keeping things secret. Yes, sis.
Those
As
are
I
very
went that way with it, but I mean that was
well. Here's the thing, because sometimes, and I don't know what parent needs to hear this. Sometimes we bury things thinking we're protecting our children, when in fact we're causing more
yeah,
harm. And that in turn is really going to hurt the parent child relationship.
yeah.
And what happens is fear gets in the way,
Yeah, come on now.
and it keeps those things hidden. It keeps things, in secret.
Yep.
Because here's the thing, once you tell it, people have feelings, and you're going to navigate through those feelings, and you learn how to work through that. And you ask God, give me a strategy, give me a plan
Mm-hmm.
of action, so we can get all those secret things
You got
out,
to get it out because it's coming out.
yeah,
It's gonna come out anyway.
yeah,
It's gonna come out anyway. I mean,
yeah,
there's no way. So what you don't want, um, you don't want your past to become a burden, but it could
right.
potentially, as a parent, it could potentially be a blueprint.
Wow, somebody said false evidence appearing
Yeah.
real. Yeah. But think about it. How many people are living false lives because of fear
What
of
somebody
the
gonna say
truth?
or what somebody gonna think.
But isn't truth a part of healing? Isn't truth a part of
Truth is, but
forgiving?
here,
Like,
but here's the thing though. We have become so accustomed to living in our hurt, living in our pain, or living in our bondage. Truth sets us
mm,
free, but that freedom comes with a cost. And that cost is somebody knowing something I didn't want them to know.
mm,
So some people would really rather take that to their grave and free somebody. You see what I'm saying? They
yeah.
rather take it to their grave than free somebody. And
Wow.
that's a difficult situation because you see, because then you have people looking for answers from people that they're never gonna get. So
Right.
that's why I say,
How unfair it is for them to have to look to those people to try to give them those answers that,
so it's always be honest. Hey, if you meet somebody with this name or that, 9 times out of 10, that's your cousin. Leave them alone.
yeah.
Don't okay, we
We
know
been
that.
there,
Yeah.
done that. Like,
You gotta have that conversation.
that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the thing. I'm so thankful for truth, because where the truth came from was a person that we loved and loved to death, even until they
Come on
died.
now.
But he was so honest
She
with
was just
us. Like,
honest.
he wasn't trying to hurt us or harm us. He just wanted us to know.
And the way it was told was hilarious to me. And it
Yeah.
was told in love. Like, man,
Yeah.
it was told with so much love and so much
Yeah.
humor. It was just like, man, you can't even, but you understand, you were able to understand, okay. And it gave you more respect for that person.
Yes. Yes. And it look, knowing, we know that, our identity is in Christ. We know that. But still, knowing family is, and your family dynamic,
Yeah, it does. It means a
that,
lot. And sometimes what we do is we try and avoid it. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
You try and avoid it. I could talk about me. I tried to avoid it so much because I didn't want to feel like I was a disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
I was disrespecting the honor or the life or the legacy of who I knew and what I knew. And so here it is, part of you goes unknown or untapped because,
Wow.
and it's like, but here it is, it's like now more and more, it's like, okay, it's opening up. No, I need this to open up because, and then even in that, I have to do better in trying to open up it because I need to know,
Mm-hmm.
what runs in that side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
When I get to because I thought I knew. So, but you have to have you have to have those conversations. You want to know because certain things, when they ask the doctor asks certain questions, and it's like, yeah, man, that I really don't know. So it's like you want to know. So that's so for me, sis. I mean, in going that route, it wasn't, but it was just the understand the importance of just being as honest as you can. No, you're not going to always have all the answers and know everything to say and everything to do, but it's just imperative that we, you know,
Yeah, and I agree, Shel. And the truth shared in love is completely different
yeah,
than, someone saying it spitefully and all that. One of the biggest things I know with parent relationships is consistency. Like
mm-hmm,
you have to be consistent with your love, with your affirmation, with just those check-ins. You have to be consistent.
yeah,
I don't care if I have an adult child, I'm still consistent. Like because I'm thinking about generations. I'm not leaving him to his own, like, oh, you're grown.
yeah.
No, I'm still consistent because guess what? When he gets married, when he has children, that same consistency is there for us to just continue to flow.
Oh boy, I gotta
Um,
confess, I gotta most definitely get with
as
this. Yeah, because you good? Okay, you good? I'm good. you know. And that's what it was. Even the one in the house will tell you, nah, daddy, he like, you good? Okay, I'm good. As long as you good, I'm good. When you ain't good, now we got problems. Okay, now I gotta see how to pick. But you so right. Being consistent.
yes. So, bro, what's one thing you would like to leave with everybody on tonight?
Mm. I don't know. I think for tonight, for me, this turned into a moment of truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it turns into a moment of truth. I see my cuz he put and I man, I'm glad I opened up this chat because I see Shelton on it. Man, I can remember sitting over their house when we moved over to the projects and
Mm-hmm.
just getting educated on who your family is.
Mm.
That was big, man.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking
Yeah.
and exciting at the same time because you knew something was different. And the
Wow.
heartbreaking part wasn't heartbreaking to the point. It was like, man, this is my grand, you know what I'm saying? And but you're learning about this whole other family that you have, and it's like I've been walking around all this time amongst my family and didn't even know it. And
Wow.
then you talk to some of them, it's like, well, we knew it, but we couldn't say anything, But it was like, so it's like my thing is, it was like I just want to, tell them if I find out something, or I know something. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna do my best to tell you the truth, and I'm gonna do my best to tell you the truth in love. And I just pray that they understand, they receive it. Um, they might understand and not understanding that you're not always gonna be perfect. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know a lot of people think they got a blueprint for parenthood, the perfect parent. You could write all kind of books. You could do it. I ain't knocking. Read, get all the information you can, the knowledge, the wisdom you can. But boy, the more I live this life, the more I realize it's not. There's no blueprint for it. Just,
Only
just
Christ.
give them the
Only
truth.
the word.
Give them the truth. Truth to
Yeah.
set you free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I love that. I love that. Look, we never know where we're gonna end
Yeah.
up with conversation. And that's the beauty of it because we never know what's gonna transpire, where we're gonna go. We don't try to stick to a script. We don't try to just, come being somebody we're not. Like we are raw and uncut because we came from
Yeah.
dysfunction.
And this is healing, man. I'm telling you, having these conversations
we
is such
came
healing. Like to have these, it's just like, man, because you've held so much for so long, So
Hey,
it's yeah, it's man,
yes,
it's some healing.
yes, yes. And I'm just thankful that even in the dysfunction, like we always go back to just, man, parents, if you're out there, no matter how dysfunctional it is, just pray, seek God. Like I have no idea where we would be if my mom wouldn't have
Man, listen.
Christ. Like I don't even want to know,
Hey,
you know.
I got an
And
idea
so
where I would be.
yeah, and
It wouldn't be
sometimes
right
like
here.
yeah, sometimes like Rod said, you're thinking that it's not working because you're not seeing it, or you feel like your parents are in the same situation, in the same state. But I'm telling you, parents, keep prayer on your
Lips.
lips. Keep the
It
word
works.
on your
It
lips.
works.
Bring it out. The word. Like, if you need wisdom, I'm telling you to get in Proverbs, it'll
And to
teach you
teach us some wisdom.
wisdom. He said, ask me and I'll give it to you, because it's just something about raising your children the godly way when you're thinking about generation
Generations.
upon generation upon generation. So if that's what I have to
Hey
say.
man, says
It's
this.
not about just you, it's about
It's about the
generations.
generation. It's about the next generation. Yeah.
Well, we have thoroughly enjoyed ourselves until next Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Much
Thank
love,
y'all.
family. Much love, friend. Thank y'all so much for coming on and sharing with us. We greatly appreciate it. We greatly
Yes,
appreciate it.
yes, yes. All right, until next week, everybody be blessed. Bye.